Well, it's that time of the year again, everybody. It's Game of the Year 2022. I'm Harv, and let's just jump into the 5 games that were my favorite this year. Starting off with Immortality. Sometimes there comes a game that changes the playing field, like quite literally. I heard about Immortality during the nominations of the Game Awards. I saw it getting a little bit more buzz when it came for Best Narrative, when it went to Main Engage, when she was nominated for Best Performance. I was like, okay, what kind of game is this? And I wanted to see if it was my kind of game. And this thing is my kind of game. It's a point-and-click game where every time you click on something on the screen, it plays an FMV of that particular thing for 3 different films that the main character has been. You kind of have to piece these all together. The goal of the game is to put them together for the stories of the films, but also there's a side story happening that's shown out of order. This could be done if you are playing the clip in reverse, or if you're playing the clip in a particular time, and then a new clip that you've never seen before just starts, or something is in the background while you're still playing that clip. I'm not going to spoil the story or anything. I think it's a very, very well done game. It had me on the edge of my seat for the entire time. It's very interesting storytelling, especially for a point and click. Main Engage, who plays the main character, is a standout performer when it comes to this game. Her performance in this game had so much range, so much depth. Every time she would pop up with a new scene, I was just enthralled with her performance. I think this game pushes the point and click genre forward and pushes the medium of having FMVs in your game into the right direction. The 4th game on my list is by Supermassive Games. This studio is one of my favorite developers. Ever since playing Until Dawn in 2015, I've been waiting for that experience again. Dark Pictures series has been kind of mediocre to okay for the most part. Some of them have been a little bit higher on the bar, but most of them have kind of went down a little bit. This year, with the mighty budget of 2K, Supermassive Games released The Quarry, a teen slasher choose-your-own-adventure based in a summer camp. I was like, count me in. I thought the characters were more memorable, I love the quick-time events, and the choices just felt more impactful. Right from the get-go, right to the end of the game. I think Supermassive finally made a worthy successor to Until Dawn. They even added more accessibility features for dyslexic mode, and having that 2K budget gave it a banger of a soundtrack. I think this game finally gives us a successor to Until Dawn, and I think it even usurps Until Dawn as the best Supermassive game. So many damn rats. Just sea of rats everywhere. Asobo released a sequel to the critically acclaimed A Plague Tale. So my number 3 is A Plague Tale Requiem. This one continues pretty much right after the first game with our 2 main characters, Amicia and Hugo. This has got to be, in my opinion, the biggest budget indie game that's out there, because the fidelity from the outset of this game is really, really well done. They show the faces, they show how good the mocap was, and the voice acting is hard-hitting throughout the entire game. There's a reason why the actress that plays Amicia was nominated for Best Performance. She really portrays what she's feeling in those scenes, and she carries the game on her back, in my opinion. There were some stutters and slowdowns when it came to the PC build, but when it came to rendering all the rats, it had no problem. The stealth in this game is also much improved, this time with more freedom, and they took away the one and done game overs that you would have. So now if you do get caught, you have a chance to run away and try to find cover and try to reset the area a little bit to bring it into your favor. This gives the player more freedom and other ways to take out enemies. This is a hard-hitting and an emotional game that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. What can I say about my number 2? God of War Ragnarok is the perfect sequel to 2018. Any kind of gripes that I had with the previous game have pretty much been fixed here in Ragnarok. The emotional story, the set pieces, the character growth was all there. I love the mixing of Norse mythology interwoven with the story of Kratos and Atreus. The new skills and playing the other characters was a good change of pace and made me look forward to those narrative breaks where we got to play as Atreus, where we got to play with different characters. It was really, really kind of a breath of fresh air. The voice acting of Odin and Thor were on point. Richard Schiff, who is one of my favorite actors, delivers an Odin that's going to stay with me for a long time. The main problem that I had with the game itself were the puzzles. I think in 2018 they weren't too bad, but it kind of got a little bit in your way for the most part. I think by the time I got to about halfway through this game, maybe 3/4, I got really annoyed with them. I just wanted more of the story, and the puzzles just felt like I was working for it, but not in a good way. And I think once you finish the game, this game opens up, and I think it gets better when you're not worrying about a narrative and you're just going around the world doing side quests. This game would have been my game of the year. It really would have. But there's one experience that stayed on top pretty much the entire year. The experience that I had with Elden Ring is something I only have once in a generation. This is my Last of Us from the previous generation. As an avid From Software fan, I really didn't think they could pull off their Soulsborne formula in an open world setting. There's so much that you lose when you go into the open world. Their games are curated and meticulously put together. Lore and items shape the world and give the player a sense of what the world is. I thought they would lose that here. I'm glad to say that I was wrong. They have that seamless open world and big legacy dungeons that sprawl around the world that feel like they should be there, not because there should be a dungeon just sitting there randomly. The Lands Between feels alive and breathing, where it's been through such a rough time with all the different factions that are around the world. Elden Ring is a special game. It's a game, like I said, I don't think From Software could make, but I'm so happy that I was proven wrong. The open world begs to be explored, and giving the game verticality has really changed how the player can tackle dungeons, caves, catacombs, tombs, and castles. They tackle the storytelling in such a great way, but they also leave so much for the player to unearth in so many mysteries that are around the world. Looking at item descriptions, looking at lore when it comes to going to Lindell, when you see the lore there. You go to Stormvale, they have their own lore. That all connects to the Lands Between. And giving us a combat that feels familiar but a little different, and having so many different ways to play the game. I love this game. This is my game of the year 2022. And honestly, I don't think any other game really had a chance of how much time and effort I've put into this game. I think I have well over 250 hours into this game, and I would not change any moment of it.